After the plane had taken off, a little after 3 p.m., Cooper handed the stewardess a note. At first, she just put it in her pocket without looking at it. But then Cooper said, quote, "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb," end quote. What's so funny about that? He has a bomb.
I think it's funny that he passed her a note to be discreet about it. Like, hey, keep this on the down low. And then she was just like, thanks, and walked away. And he was like, hey, you might want to read that because I've got a bomb. Oh, God damn it. Just imagining like a camera just pushing in on him as he's like,
If we were in today's age, this guy would definitely have headphones in playing Spotify playlists of epic soundtracks.
he'd have one of those shitty hoverboards.
Not an actual hoverboard, but
Yeah, he'd be like, or I'll do the job. And he'd take out his wheels, put them down, start moving up and down the aisle. Knapsack, or I'll do the job.
Is the fact that both crimes reportedly occurred while Brigham Young University, where McCoy was a student, was on break.
He was a student?
In this theory, yes.
I was thinking about it in like a cold, hard criminal way. I wasn't thinking like, spring break! That sounds kind of fun.
Do you think that's what he yelled when he jumped out the plane? Spring break! He just falls out to his death.
Spring break!
The second suspect is Dwayne Weber, who claimed to be D.B. Cooper on his deathbed. His wife, Jo, claims that in the hour of his death, Dwayne pulled her close and said, quote, "I have a secret to tell you. I'm Dan Cooper."
I was trying to take a drink, and I just imagined.
Closer.
I have a secret to tell you. I'm the Phantom of the Sky. I bet she did not see that one coming.
No, she's probably going to be like,
did he cheat on me?
Exactly. Did you cheat on me?
I'm a man of myth.
Once again, the FBI coming in hot with some weird I don't know. I'm not going to.
Yeah.
You're cool, FBI. I'm just saying.
You don't want to make enemies of the deep state.
No, I don't. Especially now with never mind.
Yeah.
Cooper jumped carrying 2 parachutes. However, only one of them was a functioning chute. The other was a training chute that was sewn shut. Furthermore, the chute that was functional was a military chute that was not steerable. He's kind of starting to sound like an idiot.
A little bit.
The whole time he's like, yeah, bourbon soda. Bomb. Here's your note. I'm a cool guy. Sunglasses. Jumps out the plane. Splat.
It's not a splat. I think a pine tree just. He was just like, no.
Kill me.
Little squirrel runs up to him. Get out of here!
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of his connections to the case seem circumstantial. I mean, there's how-to crime manuals in his house. There's chemistry there.
It just said how to crime?
No, like, I don't think it was titled How to Crime.
Oh.
There were manuals of how to.
If he had a book called How to Crime,
How to Crime.
then there's your guy.
Yeah, it was written in crayon.
Oh, hey, yeah. This guy's,
He's crazy.
yeah, he's out there in the character universe. Everybody knows who he is.
Here's the thing, this goes back to what we've talked about in the past, that people seem to think that serial killers are all like in this character universe.
Yeah, he's for sure in the serial killer's Avengers. Even though he's not a serial killer, he's just sort of a terrorist.
There's no serial killer character universe.
Well,
all right, anyways. One example was Frederick Benjamin Isaac Wood, with an address of 549 Wood Street in Woodlake, California.
not super creative.
Yeah, I'll tell you why this is all relevant. Why I'm talking about Wood so much. I'm about to spill that.
Oh, let's
I'm about to drop a bomb right now.
drop that bomb. Oh, I see.
Get
You're
it.
on brand here with the bombing.
What?
Bomb, Unabomber.
No, I didn't even.
No, it was very good.
Yeah, okay, sure. I'll take it. I'm trying to think of how I'm going to phrase this where I don't sound like a psychopath.
Good luck.
If they're going to conduct an investigation of him as an official suspect for the Tylenol killings, it makes sense that they wouldn't auction off all of his shit so they could actually conduct a thorough investigation. Otherwise, they're going to be like, oh, you know what? We'll just have to cross-reference this with the typewriter he used. Oh, wait, we sold it to some old lady in Florida. Fuck.
Some old lady in Florida bought the Unabomber's typewriter?
I don't know.
Oh.
It could be anybody.
Oh, okay.
Seems like a long way to go for a gag.
That's a lot to do. You can't, he doesn't even think like, oh, maybe the feds will be angry at me on this one. You think this was like an anniversary gift for his wife?
I don't know. I don't know what he could have done to
He's
make...
like, I did a real sweet thing for you, honey.
Maybe he was really in the doghouse and he was just desperate for any kind of turn of affection from her. So he
I know
thought,
what I'll do.
I know what I'll do. I'll write the FBI. He allegedly chased his mother with an axe when he was 19.
Not great.
No, off to a bad
good.
start.
I've never done that. You didn't do that, did you?
No, I didn't. What? Is there anything to suggest that I would chase my mom with an axe?
Not outright. I feel like if you
Not
peel the layers
outright.
back.
You think you peel the layers back from this onion, you'll see something you don't want to see?
Yeah, I think you wear a mask sometimes.
I think you should keep digging and maybe see what happens.
Oh, no, I'm good.
But some investigators on the original case believed it would have been possible for the perpetrator to fly into O'Hare Airport, rent a car, plant the poison, and leave Chicago.
Can you imagine just going home to your wife and being like, hey, I've got an idea. It's a little weird. And she just goes, well, sounds good.
Yeah, I know.
Like, these are two messed up weirdos who have found each other, and it's almost a shockingly beautiful love story.
Lewis referred everyone to his lawyer and refused to comment further.
I just want to talk about my book about poison, not about...
I don't get it. I just want to talk about my work, and everyone just keeps seeming to bring up all my past of all the shitty stuff I've done.
No, we're good. Ugh, this guy's gross.
On February 25th, 1957, the body of a boy was found in a box in an illegal dumping ground near Ferry Road in Philadelphia. The boy was estimated to be around 4 to 6 years old, weighed 30 pounds, and stood 3 feet 3 inches. He was found naked, but wrapped in a blanket. The boy's hair was cut, and his body was recently washed. There were small scars in several places, including his chin, groin, and left ankle, some of which suggested he underwent a medical procedure. Head injuries were determined to be the cause of death, and there were no witnesses.
Wait, so I was excited to hear about this boy who lived in a box.
I told you, it's not as magical as it sounds.
They just found a dead kid in a box? That's it?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's going to be more weird details, but I thought it was going to be like, oh, and boy, did he not like his box. And he spent years in his box not liking his box.
I mean, this was the titular moment. We just went over why this boy was in a box, because he was dead. What else do you want?
Well, The Boy in the Bubble, the movie starring John Travolta, he spent so much time in that bubble.
You
we
have
see
a
a lot of bubble content.
You have a habit for citing movies as
I've
evidence.
never seen this movie. I just know it's about John Travolta, and he can't go
That's
outside
even worse.
because germs will kill him, and he has to stay in plastic, and he kisses a girl
We're
through
moving.
the plastic.
We're moving on.
Okay.
Another propitious clue was a hat found 15 feet near the box, a blue corduroy Ivy League style cap, size 7 1/8. It was labeled Eagle Hat and Cap Company, and made by the small company owner, Mrs. Hannah Robbins, in South Philadelphia.
Dump a hat, dump a boy.
People dump things in lots.
Yeah.
There's a boy in a box in a lot.
Also, not always intentionally. You lose a hat in a lot.
Oh, I'm pretty sure the boy in the box was dumped there intentionally.
That's probably intentional.
No one's like dragging a boy in the box and then like, after they get home, they're like, I'm forgetting something.
Janet, we left the box. Our boy was in that box.
The first theory comes from authors Lou Romano and Jim Hoffman, who came across a lead from a man in Philadelphia who said that his family once rented a place to a man who sold his son, possibly the boy in the box.
Who sold his son?
Yeah, so he rented a place to this guy who sold his son.
He sold his
Which
son?
is weird because unless he was there to actually see the sale go down, that's not something you really tell somebody in passing.
No. Wow, the place is beautiful. I'm selling my son tomorrow. I'll take it. How much is it?
How many bedrooms? We'll need
60
one of them.
bucks. Can you believe it? How much is rent again?
Bristow even consulted with a psychic who held staples from the bassinet box, hoping he or she could gather some clues. Bristow went even as far as carrying a mask of the boy's face in his briefcase.
Okay. Let's think about some things here.
The last two went a little off the edge,
Yeah.
especially the latter. That doesn't even seem helpful.
So would you wear it and go to people and be like, do you know me? Do you see my little boy face? Does this look familiar to you? Wah!
You know what's even weirder? Even if he didn't open with that and he's like interrogating someone like, you seen this kid? No, no. All right, let me pull out one more thing. Clip. Now. Now have you seen him? And they're just like, no, could you please leave my home?
Please leave.
His cause of death was electrocution from a nickel ride outside of a store, once again leading to a dead end.
That's pretty funny.
Do you think she was like, hey, here's a nickel, Timmy, I'm gonna go inside and get some groceries, I'll be right back? Or the more horrifying version of that, do you think she made him ride the ride and sat there and watched as he was apparently having too much fun and got really excited and was like, yeah! And then...
You think he screamed like R2-D2?
See, that's kind of horrifying when you think about that one.
Sure is.
But there was a moment where she was probably like, wow, he's really enjoying that ride.
Yeah, it's just one of those unfortunate deaths where obviously it's a tragedy, but boy, oh boy, is that a laugh riot.
But even though the fire department was only located 2.5 miles away from the home, the firefighters bizarrely didn't reach the Sauter house until 8 a.m., 7 hours after the fire began. And by the time they arrived, the house was literally ash.
Time to reevaluate your staff there.
You really see where your tax money's going there.
That's not like, oh boy, we really dropped the ball on that one. That's like firefighters from Florida could have driven up there in time.
In their defense, it was Christmas Eve.
Oh, it's fine if people die
So
on
like,
Christmas
they
Eve.
tried calling, I'm not saying I'm condoning them for being 7 hours late to a fire that was 2.5 miles away.
It's just not great.
In fact, I'm pretty sure I could run that in probably about an hour at least.
I could spit the fire out
I
in
could
that
probably
time.
chug a beer
I could
and
just
run
spit on the fire.
In the fall, just before the house fire, a life insurance salesman came to the house, and when he saw that his sale wasn't going to be successful, he became infuriated, yelling at George, quote, "Your goddamn house is going up in smoke, and your children are going to be destroyed. You're going to be paid for the dirty remarks you have been making about Mussolini," end quote.
Ryan, I think we've solved it. All right, well, it's been fun. See you later. I will set this house on fire, and your children are going to die. Huh. Yeah, who could it be? Yes. Who could have done this?
Seems a little on the nose for me. He just listed every single aspect of the case in nice, easy, laid out fashion.
House on fire, kids are going to go up and yeah.
It was like the third act of a student film when they had to wrap everything up in exposition and dialogue.
Yeah. And this, oh shit, it's due tomorrow.
George and Jenny turned to a private investigator named C.C. Tinsley.
Yeah. C.C. Tinsley's here.
That does sound
What you say? No bones, huh? Sounds like a case for C.C. Tinsley.
Apparently they got an investigator from a time machine. They dropped him back in a time machine.
1945, of course
he said. They did not speak like that. That's not how they spoke.
Yes, that's how they spoke.
One suspicious revelation occurred when Tinsley discovered that a member of the coroner's jury who decided the Sauter house fire was an accident was the same life insurance salesman who had threatened George earlier in the fall.
Who put together this jury? The coroner? We're putting together a jury to investigate this crime. Can you wrangle up all the maybe some lunatic salesmen?
By the way, is there no police officer that knows how crime works? Like, how did they not interview this life salesman, man? Like,
I don't know. Look, I'm telling you, nobody knows how to do their job in this town.
It's unbelievable. Like, so you're telling me he screamed in your face that he's gonna murder your family?
Interesting.
Sounds like a good dude to me. I don't know what you're talking about.
Let's put him on that jury.
Tinsley heard a rumor from the town minister that the fire chief had been telling people that he'd actually found a heart in the ashes of the Sauter home, and that he'd hidden it in a dynamite box and buried it where the home once stood.
Why does the minister tell rumors?
Tinsley persuaded the fire chief to show him where it was buried, but once dug up, the heart was actually beef liver and had never been in a fire.
Oh, darn it, I actually... That's my darn sandwich. No wonder that sandwich tasted so bad the other day. I mixed them up. I think that's the first time I've ever heard of a detective going missing. That's like a fish drowning.
And you know what's strange about this? On the internet, nobody seems to really care about this point.
When a detective goes missing, you've got some pretty powerful adversaries. I'd say it's time to quit the game.
You think they're still alive today?
Maybe.
Because they're still out there, I think. I believe they're out there.
They would have to be, right? If you have a parent who ever told you that they were stolen in a fire and given a wonderful breakfast the next day, let us know.
Here's even a picture of Detective Murillo undercover as a vagrant.
That is the most cartoonish
Is the most
hobo I've ever seen. He looked like he watched a Bugs Bunny cartoon in which Bugs Bunny was on the railroad and was like, yep, that'll do.
You think he has a couple PBJs in that little bag there?
Probably.
Maybe this is like accurate to the time.
I don't think it was.
So you think that he was just like, I bet you this is what vagrants look like. And he went out there and he was like walking around, he's like, Jesus Christ, I don't look anything like
Probably. They're probably actual people who looked like real human beings.
Just dirty
and then this guy walking on like he walked off the Warner Brothers set.
It took Sweeney 3 days to even sober up.
Just Ness brewing coffee the whole time.
I know what is just
Slapping him in the face,
tossing
feeding him
buckets
coffee,
of water in his face.
tickling his feet with some feathers. I don't know.
How could Sweeney have carried out those murders in these offices without eventually being caught?
Spread out your tarps and just
Because I imagine it would be pretty hard to explain this. I know this looks bad.
he's got a head cold.
The first suspected Axeman attack occurred. Catherine and Joseph Maggio were struck violently by an axe, a straight razor used on their throats.
Wait, he hit him with the axe and then cut their throats?
I don't know.
It also could have been his, since it was his first one, he was figuring out if
he was
gonna
dabbling in,
he was
like, different
either
things?
I'll be the Axeman
Or I'll
or
be-
the Razor Boy. Razor Boy would be a good sidekick for him.
Razor Boy does not sound...
Axeman and Razor Boy?
Axeman, I think, strikes a little bit more fear into my heart than Razor Boy.
Lock your doors, Razor Boy's out tonight.
Were discovered by a baker named John Zanka making morning deliveries.
That's sad for a baker.
They actually thought he did it.
They thought the baker did it?
Well, I mean, like anybody naturally. That's why if I ever found a dead body, I don't know if I'd call it in, man.
You wouldn't call it in?
I'd call it in anonymously. I would not want any part of it because that's the first person they look
But
at.
in today's surveillance state, you would be suspect number one because they'd be like, why'd you call it in anonymously?
Well, then maybe I'll just spend my whole life trying to avoid dead bodies. How about that? Also, this guy
could
didn't
try.
know. He was just delivering bread. He opened
Hey,
the
he was
door.
probably like, good morning, I've got your beignet, oh my God.
Mrs. Schneider was also pregnant, and I'm happy to report that in the week following the attack, she successfully gave birth.
Good for her.
Yeah, that's
something.
That's a super mom right there.
Is that the only axe baby out of this whole story?
I think that's.
Can you imagine being an axe baby?
I don't know if that's a thing.
I'd go around telling everybody, one of one.
My mom took a.
One of a kind, baby. Axe baby.
My mom took some hard steel to the noggin, and then I popped out.
Jesus. Call it Axeman fever or Axemania.
Or do they call him Axie?
Where they like, everybody in town's got Axeman fever as the terror continues to grip the community.
This just in. Throw away your axes.
It's just in. More skulls crushed. Whoa, throw out your axes. It's very Old Testament.
It's like most serial killers just like to stroke themselves, and this is just.
He was writing it. He
He's
was like,
just.
let's see. The devil, his satanic majesty.
Jesus Christ.
That'll get him. Time to go murder again.
Y'all, one thing is certain, and that is some of those persons who do not jazz it on Tuesday night, if there be any, will get the axe.
Jazz it.
Quote.
You better jazz it.
He turned jazz into
Honey,
a.
we gotta jazz it.
He turned jazz into a.
I'm not
verb.
gonna throw out this axe, so we better jazz it.
So he kept to his word.
Very kind.
Apparently, everyone was jazzing it.
You know what? He was probably just gonna be out of town.
He thought, wouldn't this be funny?
I've got a business trip that weekend.
Let's see how many smokers I can make dance.
Esther saw two figures in the bedroom, but could not identify them as they fled the scene.
By the way, 2 figures.
Razor Boy.
Oh my God, no.
He's back.
No, we're not calling.
He's back from boarding school. Was this the last one?
Yes.
If this guy survived for 2 hours after getting struck 18 times, the Axeman probably wasn't used to that kind of resilience. He probably hit him once and the guy was like, oh boy, what a bump. And he was like, all right, I guess I'll hit you again. And he was like, oh my goodness, that didn't feel much better. He was like, 3, 4, 5.
The second theory is that given the context of his bizarre letter, some believe the Axeman to be a supernatural figure that could slip through tiny entranceways and become the large man that witnesses describe the killer to be.
No, 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 no.
It's just a theory.
Well, it's dumb. He shrunk down like a little mouse? Is that what you're saying? He's like Ant-Man? He's like, now I'm big, time to die.
At what
And almost all of the Axeman's victims were Italians.
These guys are racist?
Most of them were Italian grocers.
Whoa, fuck this guy.
This is what made you turn?
If there's already the basis that he's gonna be killing, I do not approve of that, but if he's gonna do it, then at least do it randomly.
I think just, how about don't kill people?
Look, Ryan, what are we here for? I thought we were here to get into the mind of a serial killer.
I know, I'm just saying, what if they all just happen to be Italian grocers?
Oh, that's rich. It all just happened to be, yeah, that'll hold up in court.
You can try to deceive us, but be warned that we are familiar with law enforcement countermeasures and tactics. You stand a 99% chance of killing your daughter if you try to outsmart us. Follow our instructions, and you stand a 100% chance of getting her back.
Fucking mathematician over here.
I know, this guy is a smug piece
I've
of
crunched the numbers.
shit. I've run the permutations through my little computer, and all of them say, you're fucked.
My murder laptop.
Murder laptop.
I've connected the two dots.
You didn't connect shit, but
I've connected them. I feel like I've been in some big houses where you could be at one end, someone in the other end could be straight up murdering a human being and you wouldn't even know.
would you take that kind of a risk as a killer to do all these weird little things inside the house?
Yes.
Reynolds even brought a vial of glitter gifted to him by John Bonet into heart surgery. The gift had been meaningful to him since no child had ever given him a gift while playing Santa. He even asked his wife to mix the glitter with his ashes if he were to die.
I don't like this man.
This also could be just the acts of a kind old man.
It is up until him wanting her glitter mixed with his ashes.
Fair. I tell you what, did he murder her? Maybe not. Is the glitter with your ashes a weird thing to ask for?
It's the
Absolutely.
weirdest,
That's
yeah.
very weird. I don't like that at all.
No.
I wish I didn't know it, but now it's in my brain. And now it's in all your brains, whoever's watching this.
Deal with it.
How-
Was he also pretending to be a weirdo?
He had to have been, right?
Was he like, yeah, man, I'm a journalist, but I'm a sicko, trust me. Trust me, I'm a sicko.
That's all he said over and over again. That's
For
all.
4 years, trust me, I'm a sicko. Write me back.
I think in all these cases, you just want justice to be served so badly that you just kind of want to just plug in the holes.
On this one, though, I don't want him, like, you know, if he's just lying, I don't want him to get what he wants.
Yeah, it's true. If you are the kind of person that wants to take credit for a child murder,
Yeah.
I don't know if we want to give him that satisfaction if you didn't do it.
No, you don't get prison, you weirdo.
The maid, Mary Soapdick.
What's her name?
Oh God, I know what she's a maid. Her name is Soap Dick.
I'm trying to move.
What a really funny big laugh you got out of that. Look how happy you are. Oh man,
Soap
what a
Dick.
gem of comedy we've mined here today.
Soapdick said that Owen kept the shades tightly drawn and the lights off, with the exception of one dim lamp. Other staff members who entered the room also mentioned this detail.
I don't want to be in the room when they're in there, that's scary.
Yeah.
I imagine him just sitting in a chair in the corner, just a shadow man. Clean it. Clean the room.
I think you're getting Anton Chigurh vibes from this guy.
Fluff the pillow. It seems like everyone kept checking in to be like, let's make sure nothing horrible is happening here. Oh, seems like it might be. We'll give it another hour. And then an hour later, okay, yep.
This murder's not ripe yet. It's not ripe yet for the plucking.
Yeah.
Also, the way they found him,
Imagining that is truly horrifying.
he said he was within 2 feet of the door on his knees and his elbows, holding his head in his hands.
Like,
No, not like that. He's not taking glamour shots. Nice of you to come in. I'm dying.
just blood.
He explained, quote, "I fell against the bathtub," end quote.
Hell of a fall.
So in this scenario, he falls against the bathtub, rolls over into the bed, and then starts bouncing up and down so the blood splatter goes onto the ceiling and walls.
Yeah. And probably bouncing on the bed so hard that he hits the ceiling a few times and breaks all his
And
bones.
fractures his skull.
Yeah.
You know, I bounced my head off the bathtub and I thought I'd go for a little bounce in the bed.
Jesus Christ. And tied himself up somehow?
Funeral flowers were anonymously arranged with the Rock Flower Company, along with a card that said, quote, "Love forever, Luis," end quote, placed on Owen's grave.
Yeah, I'm just going to start sending flowers to people's funerals and say, love forever, Luis.
You should just say love forever, Shane, and a picture of yourself. Like that.
But then people are going to ask me questions like, why'd you do that? And I'd say, it's a funny joke. And they'd say, this is a funeral, you know. Is it weird back then that you could just pretend to be someone?
You could still do that today.
Nah.
I bet you I could check into a hotel right now and say, my name is Ricky Goldsworth.
But then they're going to say, oh, do you have a credit card, sir?
And I'll be like, oh yeah, this is my my friend. I'm just putting it's just a deposit,
That's
right?
not
You're
going to fly. They're going to put handcuffs on you right away. Where'd you grow up, Ricky Goldsworth?
Oh, I grew up down the road.
Where? No. What city?
Oh, New York City.
You grew up in New York
This
City.
is happening in New York now.
What's your mother's name, Ricky Goldsworth?
Lucy Goldsworth.
What's her maiden name?
Lucy Gold.
See, crumbling.
Well, I wouldn't stumble like that. I'd have a prepared response. And
You'd be
they'd
firing them off?
be firing him off, and I'd be like, what's the fucking holdup? I'm trying to check into a room, and you're giving me a goddamn inquisition? Is this how you treat all your customers?
All right.
Who do you think you are?
That's fair.
Huh?
Okay,
and I
that's
poke
fair.
him in the chest like this. Huh?
At this point,
Huh,
I'm giving
Buster?
you a room. All right? You did it. You win. You win, Ricky. These poor people at this funeral home are just trying to make a nice little occasion for this brutally murdered man. And they have just this cartoonish cast of characters calling them up to deliver these grisly, grim messages.
playing-
If I'm working at that home, I'm getting fed up.
You want to come do the job? You want to do my job? How about I be you and you be me?
Show up. Why don't you bury them, asshole? Stop just calling me. I'm busy.
It's fucking annoying.
You know how hard it is to reconstruct this